I write for people, actually not as a woman I would address. I write for a magazine called Madhurima, which is women's magazine, widely read by men only just for my column, and which Sitanshu Bhai will stand by, my Gujarati fellow writer will stand by. I have personally felt that literature has been a very difficult term for people, for the middle class or the people who really want to read. They have been given such works where they don't find anything of their own. I want connect. I want my reader to feel one with what I write. I want to write something that they feel it's something from their daily lives. I do not try to give anything which is beyond them, which they have never thought before. My characters are from everyday life. And my every character has, you must feel that you have met them somewhere. You know them personally. This is what I try to do. A. B. I have done works like Draupadi and Krishnayan, which is a literary work. I may not say, but people have said it. And my novels are basically about how one feels, how we go through everyday crisis, how we really emotionally relate to each other, how we really want to look at life and how we should look at life. It's on a very larger level, but I want to make it simplified and want to come to the something that I can feel that I am talking to you and you are listening to me. It should not be something that you said something and I didn't understand, because what happens generally is we say a lot, understand half, and listen almost quarter. So this is what I have felt. And second question, not patriotic emotion, I would put it. English we are talking because it's a common language. We all can understand here right now. And that is why probably I started in Odia trying to say that I am a part of you. I want to be a part of you. I may not read and write Odia, but I am here in the land of Orissa, and I want to say thank you to the land, to the language, to the people of this land. They invited a Gujarati writer from somewhere, and a writer is standing on at least the land of the language, and I must start in your language as I am standing here. I think that says all.
Please. Just a small comment about this whole question of writing in the mother tongue. I think most of us writers don't, choose a language for its patriotic or other ideological. We don't choose the language we're going to write in for its patriotic and other, ideological values. I think we write in the language we can write in. And most of us, it's not a choice. I mean, that's the language in which we feel and express ourselves. So we write, and it might happen to be the non-English mother tongue for many of us. I think there's some of us who look like they could have also chosen English. And I think of my own experience where I feel I did not know any language really well, neither my so-called mother tongue Hindi nor English. And when I started writing, I really had to relearn the language. And I must say that I'm happy that I started doing it in Hindi, because the kind of resonances and tonalities that my memory threw up in Hindi, I don't think I would have recovered in English.
Let me add something to it. First of all, I will add one line to translation. When we say translation, it means quality translation, not any translation. People are trying to translate anybody they are translating, but that is not the spirit. The spirit is quality translation. That is one thing. And the other thing about mother tongue, writing in mother tongue. I think we best express in the language we dream. Manoj Babu is sitting here, respected Manoj Babu. He is equally powerful, writing powerfully in Odia and English. So there are very few bilingual writers like him. He must be dreaming in both the languages powerfully. I think so. But I dream in my mother tongue. And whoever are writing in their mother tongue, they are dreaming in that language. Gopinath Mahanti, revered writer, Gyanpith training writer, Gopinath Mahanti, he was always telling, I write in my Bou's language. Mo Bouro language re lekhe. I write in my mother's language. That means in the language in which my mother speaks, I language in that language. That means a writer writes in the language he is confident of expressing best. And also psychologists, they have said, the children, they express best in their mother tongue, and creativity is really should be promoted in children in their mother tongue. Everybody, all the experts and the psychologists, they have said.
I think only one line, if I want to add to this, is that we write or express ourselves in the language. In the language, we heard our lullabies. This is all I can say.
I think session to an end, and after this will be followed by a dance recital. So, yeah. You want to ask a question?
This is meant for Cecile. You said you don't want to be like Rakhi Sawant, to be popular. And I strongly object to it. Because like you said it today, when she made her appearance initially, I was also like you. I was thinking. But today I think if you write a serious novel or even a popular novel on Rakhi Sawant's life, you'll be more acceptable and you'll be famous for that.
By the time the microphone reaches, I really want to say.
I have a question for you.
Rakhi, yeah. Just a second on her, I would like to say. Rakhi Sawant's life also has something to say. Every life has something to say. I just said it is important how to tell a story. It can be sensational or it can be sensitive. We have to decide which side do we want to choose and talk about it.
Well, I have a question for Professor Jatin Naik. Well, sir, why have you titled the session A Great Indian Novel with a question mark? Do you find a shadow of Salman Rushdie behind this titling, this question mark? Are you not very sure about the greatness of the Indian novel in spite of its corpus and in spite of its rich heritage? Because I do not find such question mark behind any other session. Only this Indian novel has been questioned. Are you not very sure about its greatness? Or do you find Rushdie still behind it?
Since I have been robbed of my mic, I have to come here. So, well, I don't have much choice in this matter, but I think no society, no language community or literary community is sure of greatness. So, the American literature is haunted by the idea of the great American novel. Ralph Ellison spent 40 years of his life to write the great American novel and still couldn't. Came close to it, but couldn't. And what is the great European novel? Nobody is sure. So since all cultures are dreaming of achieving greatness, we put a question mark, not to sound very fanatic or not to sound very dogmatic. And I think let's stop here, because then you will stand between us and so that's the point, so that the discussion can proceed. If I say the great Indian novel, everybody would have come and said, Well, this is the great Indian novel. Because it was framed like a question, there was such an interesting discussion. Thank you.
नमस्कार. I think आपने जो अभी अभी बात कही है, मेरा सवाल भी यही था कि क्या आप किसी खास ग्रेट नॉवल की बात कर रहे हैं या नॉवल एज ए फॉर्म की बात कर रहे हैं? एंड एज ए फॉर्म, it is the period, the 20th century, whether India or America, that as a medium, novel is a greater medium, great Indian novel as a form, because after epic era, it is the prosaic epic, which is novel, various novels in various languages of India, which can express the modern life, that complexity. I think on this we should dwell, because otherwise we can start from Kadambari or Mahabharata. So they were also novel, but they were in verse, not in prose.
So, well, ladies and gentlemen, that was quite an intriguing session, and I'm sure you've really enjoyed our esteemed panelists. So I request you for a round of applause. Thank you so much for your valuable knowledge. And with that, I request Mr. Jatin Nayak to kindly step forward and present the mementos to our guest panelist here. So I request you to present a memento to Ms. Pratibha Ray. Ms. Kajal Oza Vaidya. Mr. Shishir Ramawat. And Ms. Gitanjali Shri. And with that, I request Mr. Shishir Ramawat to kindly present the memento to Mr. Jatin Nayak. So ladies and gentlemen, some great stories are being shared on this platform. So I think a round of applause would really be wonderful to pep up the mood here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sangeeta. Ladies and gentlemen, please don't go away, because even lunch is not ready. You've got some time for lunch. And we don't really move away from literature, because the next what we have on stage is a performance. And of course in Odisha, we need to have something in Odissi. We are so honored to have this. Just a brief introduction to our performance which is going to happen on stage next, before the performer herself talks about the performance. Draupadi is probably the most mysterious character in the Mahabharata, the longest and definitely the richest Mahakavya in human history. Her character has assumed a greater significance during the contemporary era impacted by discourses of feminism. The story of Draupadi is still relevant and a proof that the insights of the past can be put to use in the present. Noted Odissi dancer, Ms. Manjushri Panda, is going to showcase the complexity of Draupadi's character and the depth of suffering of a woman has to delve in order to assert her identity. Ms. Manjushri Panda has been inspired by our own panelist who you heard a short while ago, Dr. Pratibha Rai, and her book on Draupadi Jagyasani. This Odissi dance performance on stage, ladies and gentlemen, is being performed by Manjushri Panda. It's based on Dr. Pratibha Rai's book, Jagyasani. So let's have Manjushri Panda backstage talking about her performance first. Thank you so much.
त्वदीय गता मम जीवनस्य यात्रा तथैव मास्तु अपरस्य भाग्ये यथा गता मम जीवनस्य यात्रा तथैव मास्तु अपरस्य भाग्ये एकैव नारी एकैव भर्ता एकैव नारी एकैव भर्ता न सन्तु पञ्च पतयो एकाशी एकैव नारी एकैव भर्ता न सन्तु पञ्च पतयः एकास्य एकैव कथं च भवति पञ्चधा एकैव कथं च भवति पञ्चधा मत्सदृशा कापि न भवतु मत्सदृशा कापि न भवतु पुत्र वियोग खिन्ना नास्तु माता पुत्र वियोग खिन्ना अपरं च जाचे देहि जठरोत्पन्नानां सुतानां विनाशः जठरोत्पन्नानां सुतानां विनाशः सोढुं न शक्नोति सोढुं न शक्नोति कापि ममेव अपरं च जाचे देहि मां सर्वेषां गुरूणां पुरतः सदसि सर्वेषां सदसि सर्वेषां गुरूणां यथा निगृहीत तदेव पुरुषै यथा निगृहीत तदेव पुरुषै जगतः कृते वासुदेव महासमरोऽपि न गच्छतु कदा जाचेऽहं जगतः कृते वासुदेव मयैव दृष्टः कुटुम्ब विवादः गृहयुद्धात् विश्वयुद्ध जायते सर्वत्र ध्वस्तं सर्वे सर्वत्र ध्वस्तं सर्वे त्रस्तं धारायाः रूपं भवति विभत्सः जात्यवधर्मेण भाषया महीतणे देश श्रुतं माया व्यासवचनं तु पुरा श्रुतं माया व्यासवचनं तु समागमिष्यति कलिकरणं हि समागमिष्यति कलिकरणं हि ज्ञानिर्विज्ञाने भविष्यन्ति लोकाः युद्धास्त्रदाक्षाः ग्रहान्तरवीक्ष्य यद्यपि तदा ते रणरङ्गमोहना नूनं धरित्री भविष्यति भवतु वसुधा सङ्गरमुक्ता मैत्रीयुक्ता सङ्गरमुक्ता मैत्रीयुक्ता प्रशान्ता 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 पाञ्चालकन्या पञ्चपुत्र पूरयतु पञ्चत्वं काले मम वासने स्वर्गं मोक्षं च न मुक्तिं न जाचे स्वर्गं मोक्षं च न मुक्तिं पुनर्जनयतु अस्यां धरण्या न जाचे स्वर्गं मोक्षं च न मुक्तिं पुनर्जनयतु अस्यां धरण्या त्वमेव शिक्षा त्वमेव दीक्षा त्वमेव शिक्षा त्वमेव दीक्षा भातु इदं भारतं कृष्णमयं सर्वथा भातु इदं भारतं च तव जन्म देशोऽयं धन्यः यत्र च तव जन्म जन्मनि जन्मनि भवतु तत्र च मम जन्म जन्मनि जन्मनि भवतु तत्र च मम जन्म जन्मनि जन्मनि भवतु तत्र च मम जन्म तत्र च मम जन्म तत्र च मम जन्म तत्र च मम जन्म
The role of the media and the judge. Now that way, no parliamentary democracy can function. This is Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's comment on the 29th of June, 2011. There is a growing perception that this
to enjoy this afternoon session. In today's world, the world of known is known because of the media. The media reports events, interprets them, and sets the agenda in public and cultural discourses, including literature. We need to understand the media, which is our instrument to understand the world around us. And in order to do this today, we have indeed an eminent panel of people who are going to discuss, deliberate, and perhaps come to conclusions on this subject. It gives me great honor to invite on stage the moderator, Dr. N.R. Mohanty, Faculty, Jagran Institute of Mass Communication. Dr. Mohanty was the president of JNU Students' Union. He waged one of the biggest democratic struggles for the defense of student power in 1983. Now a mass communication educator and administrator, and he was with the Times of India for a long, long time. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome Dr. N.R. Mohanty. She is a journalist, non-fiction and fiction writer. She has authored a collection of short stories titled 9 on 9. Om Puri's biography called Unlikely Hero, and 2 novels. She also happens to be the lovely wife of renowned actor Om Puri. Please welcome Nandita Puri, journalist and writer. Our next panelist, Mr. Bijoy Ketan Mishra, is the resident editor, Political and Business Daily. He is the director of art films in Odia. He is also an independent media production professional. He is presently the resident editor of the Odisha edition of Political and Business Daily. Please welcome Mr. Mishra. And finally, I'd like to welcome the chief of NDTV, the bureau chief of NDTV Odisha, Mr. Sampath Mahapatra, to the stage.
Check 1, 2. Dr. Mohanty.
All of you had a look at the voiceover of the Prime Minister's and the President's speech. I don't know whether you took a close look at it or not, but you would find President was just telling about the role of media in an ideal society, the ideal role of media in a normal society. Whereas the Prime Minister was making a clear attack on the media today, that the media playing the role of accuser, prosecutor, and a judge at the same time. But if you look at possibly both Prime Minister and President would be at the same wavelength if we want to discuss the role of the media, ideal role of media. Here we mean by the role of the media, the mainstream media. We're not, because otherwise the discussion would not yield any results. So mainstream media, print and television, how are they delivering? If ideally the media should play a very constructive role for informing people about the goings on by putting up a mirror to the society, to the government, and to the cultural heritage that we have as a whole. But whether media is playing that role, if it is not playing that role, does the society, does the polity, does the government suffer? Prime Minister makes a categorical statement. He says, if media continues to function in this irresponsible manner, then Indian democracy will be badly damaged. Then the first question that we are posing before the panelists today, is media really that powerful? Or if media does not play its ideal role, will its influence be only marginal? It may not contribute anything positively, but its negative role would be absolutely limited. That's where the debate is, what the panelists would say. There, I would like to quote a famous media critic, Marshall McLuhan, who made an observation about media. He said, he asked a rhetorical question, does a fish know that it's wet? He said, no. A fish does not know that it's wet till it is taken out of water. Because its life is so dominated by water, it's only when it is taken out for a long time, it realizes the importance of water. Similarly, he says, media so much pervades our life that it's only when we are taken out from the normal media-dominated world for a long time, we realize what we are missing out. That the media informs us, it moves our emotions, it questions our intellect, and it shapes our minds and thoughts. Whether this is a proposition of McLuhan, we agree, or we say that the media, the role is only marginal, and we can very well continue to do so, continue to believe that even if media does not follow the ideal footpath, then still society will not be irreversibly damaged. That's the first proposition. Second proposition that we are making is, when we are saying Prime Minister is making that accusation about the media today, that it is accuser, that the media is sensationalizing things. Do the panelists agree with this proposition? Or is it just a frustrated remark of a Prime Minister who has been completely in seize for the last 2-3 years because of a series of scams? Or is it an actual reflection of reality, and we need to understand whether media has gone to that abysmally negative role and it needs to be retrieved. That's the second proposition before the panelists. Third proposition, if media actually has gone into a negative framework, what should we do to restore its original glory? What should we do? What corrective measures need we take to ensure that media continues to play a positive role? But if some panelists want to say media is playing a good role, then can there be measures whereby media can play still a better role in the days to come in our country? That's the third proposition we are putting before the panelists. And the final proposition is, even if the mainstream media goes wrong, is it possible that we would think that social media will step in? Does the social media fulfill the aspirations of a vibrant democracy by giving vent to a large number of points of view, although, as many would say, this may lead to a kind of a chaotic anarchy or a kind of a proposition where we would not be able to differentiate fact from fiction. That's a position, but still many believe that the multifarious channels that it provides, that says marked departure from the mainstream media, which are dominated by major houses, and thus this provides the major fulcrum for a vibrant democracy to operate. This is the fourth proposition on which the panelists will discuss today. What we amongst ourselves discuss, that we will just give 2 to 3 minutes to individuals to make the propositions. So they will not make their answers right away on all propositions. What we will start one proposition, all four will make that presentation, and then we'll go to the second proposition so that we can have a more focused discussion. And about 40 minutes later, we will throw open the discussion to the audience for interaction with the panelists. Thank you.
So the first proposition, we would like to begin with Nandita Puri.
What was the first proposition?
The first proposition, is media really that powerful that we need to be concerned about it?
Well, the reason I asked this question was so that we all know what we are going to discuss about. That was the reason. Anyway, I think the media is not only a watchdog of the government, it's a watchdog of democracy. It is also a watchdog of the opposition.